Welcome in and welcome back to my continuing series on world government UFO disclosure activities. My name is Keith, and today's installment comes to you courtesy of the fine people and government of Chile in South America. Now, Chile does have a more centralized government authority, research, and reporting, dissemination of information and disclosure. They partner up extensively and formally with various world governments, including the United States, France, and their neighboring geographical countries, Paraguay, Uruguay, Argentina, and Peru. Now, Chile does have a rich ancient history of the UFO, UAP, paranormal phenomenon. They include not only the traditional classical UFO, UAP artifacts, studies, and sightings and reports and whatnot, but they also contain ancient geoglyphs, or those writings that have been placed on the ground, take up many, many acres, neighboring with Peru, as, for example, the famous Nazca lines. Well, Chile is an extension of that through their ancient history. They do have geographically the Atacama Desert, which is one of the big features and produces much interest in the astronomy world, in that many astronomical observatories, and thus many sightings, videos, and whatnot of other UFO, UAP evidence comes from the Atacama region in Chile. Amongst the various observatories that exist there, the Paranal Observatory, the very large infrared and VLT survey observatories, the Alma Radio Observatory, the Cerro Toloto Observatory, and others in San Clemente, the Elqui Valley, the El Dorado region, of all throughout up and down Chile. The geography and the atmosphere and weather is very conducive, amongst the most conducive worldwide for the advancement of astronomical studies, hence the popularity of these, the Atacama, for particular sites for astronomical survey, study, and requisite partner with that unexplained aerial phenomenon of a sort. So between the observatories and the ancient history and mythology and geoglyphs, Chile does have representative interest and contributions to be made to both the study and disclosure phenomenon. Now, Chile's population is roughly about 19, almost 20 million people, so they don't represent a very large chunk of the world's population. But nevertheless, there's again enough activity here that warrants explanation and further dissemination of information to you, so that you can follow up on your study activities if you wish. Now, a little bit of the history on Chile's phenomenon. In more recent times, 1978, the Antofagasta sighting. This was where two sightings at two different times were actually made. Groups of Air Force, Chilean Air Force planes took videos, collected radar and whatnot, and Air Force General Hernan Rojas was the one of the main participants and officers who did write up reports that have been ultimately disclosed to the general public in regards to study. Fast forward June of 1996. And then again, a much larger flap in September, October, November of 2002 in the Angol region, where again Air Force planes met up with unidentified objects who seemed to be these objects were under intelligent control, and the requisite physical characteristics, propulsion characteristics, stopping instantaneously, hovering, accelerating at impossible speeds for the survival of human biology, turning and whatnot. So Then again, in 1997, in the El Yeso Reservoir region, again, more military sightings, video, and radar collection and other data, whatnot. In 1998, on October 17th, Chile had what they consider its own version of the Roswell, New Mexico, USA event in the Las Malacas Hill region near Pehuano. Now, Pehuano is important because that seems to be a recurring spot for activities of UAP nature. So, again, this involves crash retrieval by the Chilean military. And this will happen again at another point in the near future, as I'm coming up to in just a few seconds. May the 4th of 2007 in the San Antonio region, there was more sightings by both military and the general public witnesses. In 2008, again in the Pehuano region, there was a high school speech given where there was a collection of hundreds of government officials, school officials, and the general public. This involved yet another crash where the alleged object broke into two parts, and the area was immediately cordoned off by Chilean military in that all information has been basically covered up. Any retrieval efforts that were witnessed remain only visual witness from those people that were on site at that particular time. To date, no other crash retrieval artifacts or any further reports have been made on that. So this kind of leads you a little bit to believe that Chile may have a little bit more to do in terms of overall disclosure, transparency of their particular histories. Now, fast forward a few more sightings here. November the 5th, 2010, in the El Bosque Air Force Base area near Santiago, there was an air show in which over 10,000 witnesses both they witnessed, they've visualized, observed, and caught on video basically lighted objects that again displayed the flight characteristics of intelligent control and the propulsion characteristics that indicate airships that were either, if they are man-made, part of a very highly sophisticated military of some sort, or of those extraterrestrial origins outside of planet Earth. So fast forward a little bit further, in November 2013 and then again in 2014 in the Tallahassee copper mine region. This is perhaps the most worldwide famous series of videos where the Chilean Navy actually ultimately disclosed, after some very detailed study worldwide amongst the ufology profession and other science professions, they had taken under infrared cameras videos of craft that were releasing a cloud trail of dark clouds from behind them. You can look up on any YouTube video and just type in Chile, Navy, Tallahassee, or cloud trail to get images, videos of that particular trail. Like I said, many ufologists have conducted their own studies, and those studies are still ongoing in terms of trying to shed insight and light on the hypothesis and answers as to where the origins of these particular ships had basically come from. One last popular sighting to report: in May of 2018 in the Antofagasta region, 6 commercial planes at various altitudes and locations around, and the public have their own videos and have taken videos and witnessed again, airships under intelligent control, flying around, and propulsion, physical characteristics that don't mimic much of any production that man-made craft could ultimately take. So I'll morph into the contributors. There are a few in terms of the Chilean Society of studying of the UFO UAP OVNI phenomenon. Agrupación de Investigaciones, which is translated the Group of Ufological Investigations of Chile, is one group that is currently active in public group in terms of collection and reporting, study, research, whatnot. Others include the Universidad Chile, the MARC UFO, and the FARO, F-A-R-O groups have all been known to have conducted recent activity in terms of Chilean events and incidences and whatnot. In 2006, like I mentioned at the beginning, Chile's government is a centralized agency in terms of reporting, research, study, and disclosure. This is what I mean here. Their central reporting and research agency, the Committee for Studies of Research of Anomalous Phenomenon, or its acronym CEFA, C-E-F-A-A. That department is conducted under the authority of the Department of Civil Aeronautics, or its acronym DGAC. So the Chilean Department of Civil Aeronautics is the overseer for the committee, CEFA, Committee for Studies of Research of Anomalous Phenomenon. Its website, I'll show it here, but again, it'll be on my Facebook, the Humaniverse page, en.cefaa.gov.cl. That'll be the main go-to authority and resource for information and knowledge on the Chilean entries into the phenomenon. Others, YouTube video. This is a very good video that will give you some history, not only on the Chilean efforts, but also that 2014 Navy video incident in the Kalahari copper mine valley area there. YouTube, as I show you the website address here, again, it will be on my Facebook, the Humaniverse page. And then also to the US-based archive.org is the another source in that, as I mentioned, the U.S. Chile does have contractual cooperation and efforts with many other countries, including the U.S. So archives.org is the U.S.-based website that will also hold some information on the history of Chilean reports and case files and whatnot. So the government agencies within Chile that are active and have been active in the UFO UAP phenomenon include, again, the Civil Aeronautics Department, or the DGAC, CEFA, Committee for Studies of Anomalous Aerial Phenomenon, CEFAA, and the Chilean Navy and Air Force are also very important too in terms of the curation and dissemination of information. So amongst the disclosure efforts, Chile is a little different from some other countries in that there haven't been any large, enormous data dumps or whatever. You'll see what I mean here in just a second. The CEFA organization group was created only in the late 90s, 1996, and its mission is to again record, analyze, and report information on case studies to serve as a safeguard for Chilean airspace and to educate the public in terms of what this phenomenon is all about. Now, in August, the 11th, specifically August 11th of 2008, the Chilean government passed law number 20.285, which is known as the Transparency Law. And that law basically serves the function like the Freedom of Information Act that's present in the United States and many other countries under this particular world government UFO disclosure survey. So what that means is that freedom of information, the process is someone, and again from the general public or whoever, can file requests for obtaining file reports, documentation on any particular case, and then it's up to the Chilean government to decide whether they have the information available with which to copy and disclose to the requester of it. Or I suppose this could also mean a decision by the Chilean government whether to release such information. So we all know, those of us that have been in this community for any length of time, know that the government governments make arbitrary decisions sometimes on those matters. So it's up to the whim of whatever to see how much they can either bend the law or follow the letter of the law or whatever. So, but this law 20285, the transparency law, is very important, seminal towards the Chilean disclosure efforts. In 2014, in December of that year, Chile entered into a contractual agreement with France, the CNES and the GAIPAN agencies, which France's version of the Department of Defense and whatnot, which studies the UFO, UAP, OVNI phenomenon. Again, Chile and France entered into a contractual agreement, a 3AF Aero Astronomical Association partnership of a sort. And the French GAIPAN and CNES interfaces with the Chilean's counterpart, the CIFA, to create ongoing studies and reports on the phenomenon itself. As I conclude here for the Chilean efforts, as you've seen here, while Chile does have a very rich history in the UFO UAP phenomenon, they're very rich in visual sightings, reports, observations, and videos or whatnot, and a little bit lean in paper documentation and official disseminated reporting and whatnot. For whatever reasons, probably remain to be seen. But in any event, I think there's enough activity there within the Chile confines to warrant consideration for those of you that are ongoing studiers and students of the disclosure phenomenon around the world, and certainly enough activity has been observed and reported and recorded in Chile to have a little bit of an influence, at least anyways, on the worldwide landscape of whatever conclusions you may want to draw from world government disclosure efforts. So with that, I will sign off here. Please continue to follow my series. I've got some more governments to highlight here, and then we'll wrap it up with a summary video, doing a little bit of a compare and contrast, and lining you up for the potential futures for the government's involvement in activities for UFO, UAP, ETI disclosure activities. Again, this is Keith. Thanks for viewing, and we'll see you next time soon. Take care now.